So the purpose of our mentoring sessions for the first 2 weeks has been to help students kind of identify all the little attributes and aspects of their own lives that help create their own identity. In order to do that, they did a survey last week. They were also able to share a few details about themselves with each other, some characteristics that they've noticed about themselves. They've learned a little bit about each other. This week with the photo collage, it's meant to give them an opportunity to showcase something about themselves without actually using words. So they're going to use visuals instead. Now, these visuals can come from the internet. These visuals can come from their own photo collection, their own photo albums on their phones. Whichever way they want to go about doing this is fine. One of the things we want to do is make sure that all of our mentors have their own example to show first. That way we kind of follow a process where it's I do, we do, you do. So it gives students a few examples before we let them loose and let them create this on their own. This process might look a little different for everybody. Remember, the students have Chromebooks. You will have a laptop or your desktop. I'm going to show you how to create your collage ahead of time. But at the same time, when you get your students in your room, if they haven't already shared their photos with themselves as far as their Google Photos app, or shared it through email to themselves to get it onto their Chromebook, it might take a few minutes to get the photos onto the Chromebook itself. So what it looks like is I'm going to pull up my Google Suite here, which is just a new tab. I'm going to click on these dots up here. And I'm going to search for Google Photos. Now, I've already uploaded the photos I want to use ahead of time. So they're going to be right at the top here. It's very simple. Now, Google Photos actually does have its own function of making a collage. It's very simple. So if you have students who have already selected their photos ahead of time, this process might only take 1 minute. So what you're going to do is I have my photos here that I'm going to select. I might not use all of them that I pulled out ahead of time, but I'm going to use a number of them. So when you hover over a photo, you'll see that this little check mark pops up. I'm going to check these. I want to use these three. I'm going to skip that one. I'm going to use this one for now. I'm actually going to skip this. Use that one, and that one. So now that I've selected the photos I want to use, I'm going to go up to the right here, and I'm going to click on this plus symbol, add to or create new. I'm going to create a collage, and you'll see that the program will create its own collage. And done. And that's it. Very simple. So now that my collage is done, I'll just kind of walk you through real quick why I chose these photos. So in the top left here, this is my family. These are my three girls. This is Emma. Natalie's in the middle there, and Madeline on the left-hand side, my wife, Justine. This is actually, we were apple picking. I want to say 2 years ago. This might have been last fall, not this year. We didn't go apple picking, but we almost go apple picking every single year. This year is actually the first year, I think, since we've had kids, almost 9 years. This is the first year that we did not go apple picking. So that's something that we do every year. I threw in a picture of snow. This was last year's November storm, not the blizzard during December, but this was the November storm of last year, right around Thanksgiving. Put that picture in there because any one of us who have grown up in this area and anyone who still lives in Western New York on a regular basis just knows what snow is. But I feel like I'm 36 years old. I feel like in my lifetime, when I was younger, we had a few heavy snowstorms, but just in the last 3 or 4 years, it seems to be very consistent. So all of us will recognize that, when you get almost 4 or 5 feet of snow, anywhere in the South Towns especially. This is the one on the top right here. This is from the Bills practice game last summer in August. So I'm a big Bills fan. You can see with my Bills shirt over here at the apple picking my hat. Big Bills fan. I watch them every week. I love football. I watch pretty much as many games as I can. Night games, Monday night games, Sunday night games. Whether the Bills are playing or not, I watch football as much as possible. So big Bills fan. I actually don't typically go to games. I do prefer sitting at home and just kind of watching it. So the reason I chose this picture up here is because that's one of the few events I've actually been to at the stadium in probably almost the last 20 years. Bottom left here, my three girls. These were our family photos that we took this fall. So they mean a lot to me. So obviously they're going to be in there. I identify as much as I can as a father. And I know people like to say a girl dad, right? I have three girls, but there's something to be said about that. In the middle here, I do like to cook. I actually do pretty much all the cooking in my house. My wife doesn't really like to cook. She bakes. She likes to bake. She's a very good baker, but she doesn't like to cook. So this is one of the meals that I really like to make. This is actually chicken thighs with red Swiss chard. Do that in a Dutch oven and then put some olives on top and some goat cheese. It's very good. My picture, this is the picture from the website. I want to include something there that identifies myself with St. Francis. I love this school. I love this institution. I'm very proud of my position. I'm very proud of what I get to do here day in and day out. So that's definitely part of my identity. Anybody who knows me knows I love dogs. Absolutely love dogs. So my bottom middle picture here is my favorite handsome boy. That's Buster. Buster is actually going to be 13 years old come November. He's a Welsh Terrier. I have two dogs, but I put him in there because I love him to death. He's just my little boy. So anybody who knows me has been in my office. You see pictures of dogs, and even when I had students, I always talked about my dogs when we were talking about things in class. And the bottom right here is actually a picture from a video game. Maybe some students would recognize this, but this is actually from a video game, a newer Zelda game, which I'm a big proponent of video games. I love video games. I still play video games to this day. So I'm not in charge of esports or part of esports just because that fell under me. It's more because I actually have an interest in this and I understand what video games are. So all these things come together, and I could throw in a ton of other pictures. Obviously, my identity stretches way beyond just these pictures, but this is just a snapshot of who I am. And it's a fun little process because I could show this to students. I'll show this to my mentoring group. And without any context, they'll have to kind of guess what each picture might say about me. And they might get close to, my original intention or my original purpose. But that's also maybe something about why I chose the picture, right? Did I choose the picture wisely? The one on the top right here, does that really, as far as what I intended it to say, will that say that to someone else? Maybe not, right? So maybe I could have chose a better picture. So now that this is done, I can share this. So if I actually go up here and I click on the share button, I can just add my teacher's email. So remember I said you want them to share this with you. So it should let me actually type in mine. Oh, it won't. So it won't let me type in mine because I'm on my own account. But let's say I want to share this with Mr. Ziguy. I can type that in, and that will share it with him. I don't have to say anything or anything. And I can hit send, and that will share it with him, and he'll have access to that. All right. The reason we want to do that is because one of the things we're trying to do is we want all of our students to create these. We want all of our mentors to create these. And our hope, our intention is that we can put together a larger kind of collage, a larger artistic installation, really, that shows that these are our identities. This is the collection of all our identities here at St. Francis, and that all together we belong at St. Francis. So in my mind, I have this is what I'm thinking it could look like. So this is just kind of like a quick mock-up, but imagine, the students in the hallway, anybody here, and this is maybe our digital board, and maybe there's a collection of 20 collages all put together with a larger phrase that says, "We belong at St. Francis." And then maybe a few slides later on the digital board, we have another collection of 20 different collages, then still our kind of slogan there of "We belong at St. Francis." So this is something that we're working on with Brother Tim and Sue to see if this is something we want to promote. We can promote it in-house, but that's the other question of whether we want to promote it more on the website or anything else. But that's kind of the purpose of these first 2 weeks, is for all of our students as well as our mentors to kind of understand their own identity, how we share those identities, how we present ourselves to each other, and then how do we bring all of those identities together to say that we are as one, right? We are all together at St. Francis, and we all belong here. All of our identities have a place here and belong here. So I want you to take an opportunity to also explain that to your mentees if you can in the beginning. After you share your own collage, I think it's a good opportunity to kind of mention to them that why we're doing this and where this is headed. If your students want to use Google Slides, it's actually just as easy pretty much as Google Photos. So I'm going to open up a new tab here. And now I'm going to choose Google Slides. I'll make a blank slide, our presentation. And the beauty of this is because everything's connected on the Google Suite, and that's why I'm really recommending you to guide your students, your mentees, to share their photos using their Google Photos through their school Gmail account, is I can actually, if I go to Insert here, go to Image, I can actually pull right from Google Photos. I don't even have to upload my computer. I don't have to search the web or anything else. I can actually pull right from Google Photos. And interestingly enough, you can actually see my collage there, but here are the photos that I was pulling from. And then I can just drop and drag those. And at the end of this, right, you have the student maybe make one slide. maybe they'll create this as one slide, and then they can save this, send it to you, email it to you, or even share it now that it's actually on Google Drive, right? They can just share it with you. And this one might actually allow you to be a little more creative about how you make a collage, right? It's maybe not as strict. You could even curve the edges, curve the borders. So this will give students a little bit more creativity with that. If you have students that are really good with Canva, which is a program that I've seen a lot of teachers use, then absolutely let them use that. But I don't want necessarily the mentors to feel that they have to learn that program, learn how to use it. If the students know how to use it, let them use it. And if they want to help another student learn how to use it, then that's even better, right? Have maybe two of them work together. But I think we had talked about, a handful of photos. My final collage here ended up being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's pretty good, right? That says a lot. Anywhere maybe from the 6 to 10 range roughly will probably be pretty good. All right, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. I figure I want to get this out by the end of the day on Thursday. That way it'll give you at least one full week to watch this, read over the information, create your own, and then ask any questions if you need to. All right, thank you.